Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going back on the record. Now, I was going over the judge's explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney and inform you that you had three options regarding the right to have an attorney. Number one, you may hire an attorney. Number two, if you do not have enough money to hire an attorney, you can request that an attorney be appointed to represent you. And number three, you can waive your right to an attorney and represent yourself. Also, I mentioned to you that if you want to hire an attorney, your case will be reset to give you time to do so. I also mentioned that if you did not have enough money to hire an attorney, then you would need to fill out a financial questionnaire so that the proper person can determine whether or not to appoint an attorney to represent you or to see whether or not you qualify for an attorney. And also mentioned that you may not speak to the prosecutor, which is the assistant district attorney, about your case unless you sign a written waiver of your right to be represented by an attorney. A waiver is saying that you want to waive your right to an attorney and represent yourself. And also I mentioned to you that there are dangers of self-representation. And your case, if you represent yourself and waiving your right to an attorney, may result in a worse outcome for you and your case, including the loss of significant legal rights and opportunities relating to military service, possession of a firearm, housing and public benefits, child custody, immigration status for non-citizens, and employment. And I also mentioned that if you choose to proceed without an attorney, you may change your mind at any time and may request counsel from the court. Now, you will have to choose on the judge's explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney. At the bottom of that document, there are 5 lines. Now, the first line states that if you want the case to be reset to hire an attorney, then you'll put your initials on the first line to the left. If you have already hired an attorney, then you'll put your initials on the second line to the left and the name of the attorney on the line to the right. If you want to apply for court-appointed counsel, then you'll put your initials on the third line to the left. If you've already been appointed a court-appointed attorney, then you'll put your initials on the fourth line to the left and the name of the attorney on the line to the right. And if you want to waive your right to an attorney, represent yourself, then you'll put your initials on the fifth line to the left. Now, the forms that I'm talking about are on this table, and each and every one of you will be given the forms on a paper clip, well, not a paper clip, but on a clipboard, and you'll make your choice, and then you'll sign at the bottom of that document where it says defendant, and you'll place today's date, which is August 16th of 2022. And for those of you who are waiving your right to have an attorney, and you're designed to represent yourself, then you'll have to sign what is called a waiver of counsel. And that will be the second page on the clipboard. And it's titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. And it reads, I have been advised of the nature of the charges against me and the dangers and disadvantages of self-representation. My waiver is voluntarily and intelligently made. Furthermore, I have been advised this 16th day of August 2020 by the County Court at Law Number 2 of my right to representation by counsel in the case pending against me. I have been further advised that if I'm unable to afford counsel, one will be appointed for me free of charge. Understanding my right to have counsel appointed to me free of charge, if I'm not financially able to employ counsel, I wish to waive that right and request the court to proceed with my case without an attorney being appointed for me. I hereby waive my right to counsel. And if that's the case, then you will sign on the line that's titled defendant, and you place today's date, August 16th of 2022. Now, as a defendant, you have other rights besides just the right to have an attorney. You also have a right to have a trial by jury. Where those young people are sitting in that area, we call that the jury box. And 6 citizens from Jefferson County will be selected to sit on your jury. They will decide after listening to all the evidence whether or not you are guilty or not guilty of the charges. You also have a right to waive your right to have a trial by jury, which means you have a right to give up your right to have a trial by jury. And by doing so, your case will come before the court, will still come before the court in one of three ways. One way it could come before the court is by way of a trial. And what I mean by come before the court, come before the judge only without a jury trial. And the judge will be the judge and the jury. The judge will listen to the evidence and the judge will decide whether or not you are guilty or not guilty. You also have a right to come before the judge by way of a plea bargain. There are two types of plea bargain. One is called an agreed plea bargain. What a plea bargain is that's an agreement that you and the state has made to settle your case. If y'all come to an agreement, we call that a plea bargain agreement. And that case will come before the court by way of a plea bargain agreement. And then the judge will decide whether to follow the plea bargain agreement or not follow the plea bargain agreement. If the judge does not follow the plea bargain agreement, then you will have a right to take back, which means to withdraw or take back your plea. For example, let's say you and the state has worked out a plea bargain agreement for 3 days in jail, and it comes before the court, and the judge says, well, I'm not going to follow that plea bargain agreement. And then you say, well, judge, since you're not following the plea bargain agreement, I take my plea back. And you can do that because you have the right to withdraw your plea if the court does not go along with your plea bargain agreement. Now, if the judge does follow the plea bargain agreement, if you decide that I want to appeal this case, I want to have a higher court to look at this case, that's what an appeal is. It's a higher court looking at your case to see whether or not you've been wrongfully convicted or whether or not the court committed the error by convicting you. And if that's the case, you have to get permission from the judge to appeal the case if the judge followed the plea bargain agreement. Now, your case can also come before the judge by way of an unagreed plea bargain agreement. That simply means that you and the state, you and the district attorney or the prosecutor, or your attorney and the prosecutor or the state have not been able to reach an agreement on your case, and you still want your case to come before the judge, it will come before the judge by way of an unagreed plea bargain. What an unagreed plea bargain is that, as I said earlier, y'all haven't come to the agreement as to what the punishment is. And so the judge will decide what the punishment is in your case. All right. So just to recap, your case, if you waive your right to have a jury trial, your case can come before the judge in one of three ways. One way is by way of a bench trial, a trial before a judge only. Or it could come by way of an agreed plea bargain. That means that you have an agreement, you and your attorney have an agreement with the state to settle your case. Or three, it could come by way of an unagreed plea bargain, which means that you do not have an agreement and you want the judge to set punishment in your case. Now, you also have a right to have witnesses to come to court to testify in your case. That area over there where that chair is with the microphone, we call that the witness stand. And what witnesses do, they could come in, they can testify for you or against you. If you're representing yourself, you can ask them questions, or if you have an attorney representing you, your attorney could ask them questions. We call that either direct examination or cross-examination. Now, you can waive or give up your right to have witnesses, which means you can say that you do not want any witnesses to testify. You're not going to call any witnesses to testify in your case. And what that means is you will not be calling witnesses, but it does not mean that the state or the district attorney will not be calling witnesses, because they will be calling witnesses in the case. You also have a right you have a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. And what that means is you might have heard people saying, I'll take the fifth. And what that means is that you have a right to remain silent. You have a right not to testify in your case. And the district attorney and the state, nobody can force you to testify in your case against yourself. Now, you can waive or give up your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, and by doing so, you will be testifying in your case. You also have a right to have discovery, and what discovery is, you have a right to see the evidence that the state has against you. That is, you have the right to see the documents You have a right to see witness statements. You have a right to see videos, tape recordings, objects, or whatever evidence the state has against you. You have a right to see or have access to that evidence. Now, you also have a right to waive or give up your right to have discovery, which means that you do not want to have access or see the evidence that the state has against you. Now, everyone here that's here for arraignment, you're here in court because you were out on bond. You were arrested. However, you are out on bond. You are either out on what is called a PR bond, which means you didn't have to put up any money to get out. You're released on your personal recognizances. That's why we call it PR. Or you are out on a cash bond, which means you paid the full amount of the bond to get out. We call that a cash bond. Or you are out on what is called a surety bond. A surety bond is where you have a bondsman that you paid a certain percentage of the bond to, and you're out on a surety bond. Now, that simply means now every day that you spent in jail until you bonded out, you can get credit for that jail time toward your sentence or your punishment. So, for example, let's say you spent 5 days in the Jefferson County Jail, and let's say the state is offering that you settle your case in a plea bargain 5 days in jail. That simply means you will not have to do any more time in jail. Why? Because you've already spent 5 days in jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time that you've already served. Now, if they offered 7 days and you did 5, that means you have to do 2 days in jail because you already did 5, and so you only have 2 days left. Now, every day that you spent in jail also will go as $100 per day towards your fine and court costs. So, for example, if the state offers you fine and court costs in your case of $500, you spent 5 days in jail, you won't have to do any more time in jail. Why? Because the time that you spent in jail, which is 5 days, has already paid off the fine and court costs of $500. Now, if they're offering $500, if they're offering fine and court costs of, say, $700, then that means you would have to pay $200. Now, if you can't pay the $200 on the day that your case is disposed of, then the court can allow you to pay it in installments. In essence, they can put you on what is called a payment plan. Now, let's say even if the court put you on a payment plan, you cannot pay it off because you do not have any income. No problem, because the law allows the court to convert your fine and court costs to community service. And what that means is this. Instead of paying the fine and court costs off with money, you will work it off through community service at a nonprofit organization. So every hour of community service that you do, you will receive $12.50 that will go toward your fine and court costs. So, for example, if you work 8 hours of community service, that's $100 that will go toward your fine and court costs. So Jefferson County has a program that is called pretrial diversion for first-time offenders. And what that program means is this. If you get in the program, they will dismiss your case. And if you complete the program, you can get the charges expunged from your record, which means erased, deleted, or wiped off from your criminal record. Now, in order to get into the program, it has to be your first case. It can't be a case involving unlawful carrying a weapon or resisting arrest, and you have to have an attorney to assist you to get into the program. And if you're interested in that, we can give you the information that you need. So they call that pretrial diversion. Now, if you are a veteran of any one of the branches of the United States military, the DA's office has a program that is called Veterans Court. And we have someone here who's with the Veterans Program. He'll come to you a little later and talk to you about the Veterans Program. But they will do the same thing. You get into the program, you complete the program, they dismiss the case, you can get it wiped off, erased, or deleted from your record, which is expunged from your record. Only thing you have to do is be a veteran of any one of the branches of the United States military. This court has a program that is called the Community Safety Initiative. For short, we say it's the CSI program. That program is a program that I started in March of 2017. Within 100 days of taking office, that program is designed to address the issue of recidivism. Recidivism means that people committing crimes over and over, recommitting crimes. And so how do we address that? We address that through our community safety initiative. And with the community safety initiative of the CSI program, we have partnerships that we have in the community. One of the partnerships that we have is with Spindletop Center. Most of the folks here that you see is with the Spindletop Center. And in a little bit, Mr. Henry is going to come to you and talk to you about the program that they have at the Spindletop Center. But basically, the program will entail them doing a private interview. They will do an assessment, and they can develop either a treatment plan, either outpatient or inpatient. Now, you do not have to be incompetent or insane to get into the program. You could merely suffer from, you could be bipolar, or it could be paranoid schizophrenia, it could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be post-traumatic stress, and a whole host of other mental issues that you may have that they can address. Now, the other thing is, if you have an issue with drugs and alcohol, well, they have a program that is called ATAR. Spindletop has a program that is called ATAR, and our local Alcohol and Drug Abuse Council has a program that is called OZAR. Both of those programs are designed to address individuals who have problems with drugs and alcohol. They can provide a screening, they can do an assessment, and also you could be referred through a treatment plan, either outpatient or inpatient, to address your drugs or alcohol problem. If you are unemployed, that is, you do not have a job, well, we have a partnership with the Lamar we have a partnership with the Golden Triangle program. They have a partnership with Lamar University, and Lamar University has a program that is called CICE. CICE stands for Center for Innovation, Commercialization, and Entrepreneurship. It is a job training program and a job placement program in the hotel industry, the shipping industry, and the chemical industry. Once you are trained in one of the areas that you select, then they will assist you at getting a job in the area that you're trained in. If you have not graduated from high school, you do not have your high school diploma, well, the CICE program has a GED program where they can assist you at getting your GED. Now, all of these programs that I just mentioned are free. It does not cost you anything. Only thing you have to do is have a desire to be into the program. And if you're interested in getting into the program, just let us know. And then we'll assist you at getting into the programs to address whatever need that you have. The other thing is, all of these programs that I just mentioned can be used as community service. So for example, let's say you have an issue with, say, drugs and alcohol. While you're going through drug and alcohol counseling, every hour that you do, you're getting 1 hour that goes toward community service, and $12.50 will go toward paying your fine and court costs. So you're doing one thing, you're in a program, that's one thing. You get community service and you're paying your fine and court costs. So you're doing one thing, but you're getting credit for 3 things. So you're killing 3 birds with 1 stone. And the other thing is, like I said, all of these programs are free. Only thing you have to do is have a desire to be in the program. I tell you people this all the time. When you come to county court at law number 2, we do not have court as usual. We have unusual court. And it's not because we're different, but it's because we're trying to make a difference of the lives of the individuals that come before this court. And we're also trying to make a difference in Jefferson County, the county in which we live, by trying to make Jefferson County a safer place. Also, we also trying to produce productive people, and we believe that if we produce productive people will not commit crimes. Why? Because they have too much to lose. And so with that in mind, this is our program that we have here. If you're interested, just let us know, let the court personnel know, and we'll be happy to assist you at getting into one of the programs. At this time, we're going to have Wade come from the VA. Wade is going to give you some information on the program that they have with the Veterans Administration. Wait,
Thank you, Jim.
you up.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wade Adair, and I'm with the Texas Veterans Commission and Spindle Top Center, the veteran coordinator. And if you're a veteran in court today, let's talk about how you may qualify for the Jefferson County Veteran Treatment Report. And if you're a veteran in court today, you need some assistance for other resources and other benefits, I'll be glad to help you. The same goes if you are a veteran in court or you have a family member that's a veteran, I'll be glad to reach out to them, help them navigate anything, VA affairs, VA medical. And again, my name is Wade, and if your veteran needs some help, just please let me know. I'll be glad to spend some time with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wade. And next we will have Deputy Hinton. He's with Spindletop.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Good morning. My name is Steve Hinton. I am a licensed mental health deputy. And the reason, I'm also here with my two coworkers, which is Chris and Sarah. They're both qualified mental health professionals with Spindletop. Also here with Wade. The reason we are here, the reason the judge has allowed us in this courtroom today, because he cares about every single person that appears before his bench. What the judge has found is those who appear before the bench with legal issues commonly have mental health, substance use disorders, or just a lack of community connection to services that are out there. The statistics prove that those who are in the criminal justice system have an 8 times greater chance of having mental health or substance use disorders. So, in fact, the judge is accurate on that. The judge believes if he can help you with these underlying issues, the reason we're here, we can help get you out of the cycle of arrest. Now, maybe this is your first time to be here. Maybe it's your 10th time to be here. There's still hope. We actually have a system in place where we can plug you into services, work with you specifically and individually to help you get the resources that you need to help you with your particular situation, whatever that is. Now, in a few minutes, we're going to be having an opportunity to visit with y'all. We also pass out a form, which is a demographic form, which is information which we will utilize to further assist you. That information is private. It won't be shared outside of your permission, but it's going to be used to be able to contact you and get you connected to those resources should you find a value in getting help. And should this apply to you? Maybe this doesn't apply to you. Maybe it applies to a family member. We would still love to work through you to get to that family member, get that information to them so that we can help them as well. And we have this flyer. We're going to give this to everyone before you leave here today. It tells you a little bit on the backside about what we do and why we're here and the benefits of taking advantage of this. And on the front also has a 1-800 number. It's a crisis hotline number. You can use that number should you ever find yourself in an unsafe place. You can call that number and get help immediately. But if you don't remember anything else I said, remember this. We're here to help you. This is what we do. This is our goal. This is our objective, is to help you individually with what we can do. I'm going to ask you to do something here in a little bit when the court goes into recess. It may be a little uncomfortable for you. Maybe you didn't expect to do this. But if you will just share that need with us privately so that we can help you, I think we can offer you resources that would be greatly beneficial to you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Hinton. Ladies and gentlemen, I just put program in a nutshell. The programs that we have in this court, we believe that it's better to address the problem than just arrest the problem. We do not just give time, but we take our time. And we believe by taking our time, we can make Jefferson County a safer place for all of us to live, work, go to school, raise our family, go to church. So what we're going to do now is there's some paperwork that needs to be passed out. And each and every one of you are going to get that paperwork. And we're going to be in recess to give you the paperwork so we can pass out. And once the paperwork is filled out, we're going to call you up one at a time again so that we can get the cases taken care of.